What's up, what's up, what's up, y'all? Listen, I had them put together a whole video for y'all so that y'all can see how to prepare your oxtail. Listen, I have no clue where the video went, but I still want to come back and tell you guys how to do it, what did we do step by step, and what you'll need for your oxtail. So I'll make this quick because as you can see on the stove, my oxtail started literally 36 minutes ago. So I'm going to explain to y'all what is in my pot, how I make my oxtail, and how to get started. Alright, so first thing first, since I can't show you guys how I did before, you want to make sure once you get your oxtail, with the oxtail you want to wash it off. So I do wash my oxtails off with vinegar, and I let it sit with also salt inside of a bowl for about 5 to 10 minutes because you want to make sure that you clean that meat off. So once you let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, you want to then rinse your oxtails off, and then you want to start your seasoning process. So a lot of people would say, why would she be showing a video for oxtails? Believe it or not, it's a lot of people amongst us who know how to cook that do not know how to cook oxtail and what you're supposed to put in the oxtail. So since my oxtails be lit, I'm gonna come to y'all real quick and let y'all know what I use in my oxtails and how do I get my oxtails to taste so good. So like I said, after you clean your oxtails, this is what you want to season your oxtails with. So I did start off with seasoning my oxtails with browning, which you want to add at least 2 to 3 drops of browning. It does come out very heavy, so you have to be careful so that your oxtails can be brown. Okay, so I did start off with that, with seasoning my meat with the browning. From there, I went on to using my Badia Complete seasoning. I know they have other brands of seasoning, but you can use whichever brand you would like to of the complete seasoning. That's fine. So what I did to season my oxtails is I started out with the top coat. I filled the top with complete seasoning. And then I also, when I mixed the bowl and flipped my meat, I did another coat of complete seasoning as well. For all those who want to know how you get that oxtail taste, listen. This is the best oxtail seasoning to me, which I use JCS, which is the Jamaican oxtail seasoning. I love it. This is just what it is. I got one here. I got another one here. This is just the real deal. So JCS would be the best brand, but they do, for all those who be in the grocery store, know they have different brands of the oxtail seasoning. So I do the same steps with this. In the bowl, I put a top coating of the oxtail JCS season, and I flip my meat, season it all together, flip my meat, and I put another coat of seasoning on there. The amount of seasoning that you want to use on your meat is what you will use, depending on how you want your food to taste. Just do not fill your food up with salt. I did go ahead and also use a little sprinkle of salt, which I just sprinkled a top coat onto the top part, which I use Morton Salt. We all know that they have different salts inside of the grocery stores as well. I did also use a little of pepper inside of my food so that I can have that little spice, and just not too much spice, but that spice in that seasoning. So those would be all the things that I use in case you want to prepare your food. These are all the things. You have your oxtail seasoning, your complete seasoning, you have your black pepper, your Morton salt, and you have your browning. Alright, so let's move to over here. So I made a lot of, these are green peppers right here, orange peppers right here. You have the yellow peppers right here, you have the onions in between here, and then you have the tomatoes. So these are all the vegetables that I use inside of my food. However, because I said the video got cut off, I made a whole green pepper, a whole orange pepper, a half of the yellow peppers, not Scotch bonnet pepper, but green peppers. Not green peppers. Listen, bell peppers. I'm so sorry, y'all. So I used a whole green pepper, a whole yellow pepper, cut up a whole orange pepper, and a whole tomato, and a whole onion. I love onions. So believe it or not, people be looking for the right seasonings. This is the best seasoning that you can ask for that you put inside your food. Because what it does is it simmer down inside your meat, and that's what gives that meat that seasoning so people can suck on the bones like that's what gives it that seasoning. So how I started it is I heated my pot up on high. As you can see, this big pot that I'm using, that the food is already in. I heated my pot up on high, and I based the bottom of the pot with, you can use whatever vegetable oil you want to use. I use the Great Value oil because it really don't matter. I don't use oil that much. So I just based the pot with the oil. The reason being that I based my pot with the oil is because I want to kind of fry the oxtail first. Like, I had everything down packed on the video, and I have no clue. The video would not let it go through, but on YouTube. But I based the pot, and I with a little bit of oil, and I had it on high. I did go ahead after I seasoned the meat and everything. I took the meat and I did pour the meat in the pot with the oil so that we can go ahead and start cooking the oxtails. You want to kind of make sure your oxtails are kind of cooked before, or at least fried before. The reason being is you don't want your meat to taste rubbery. So you don't just want to throw it in a pot with water, because that makes the meat rubbery. So you want to fry your oxtails for about 5 to 10 minutes before you add any of your seasoning. Back to my seasoning. Now, if you look inside this pot, you could kind of already see the seasoning in there, but those seasonings are going to definitely disappear. So after I let it sit for fry for 5 or 10 minutes cooking my meat, I did go ahead and I added half of everything that I had here. The green bell peppers, orange bell peppers, yellow bell peppers, onions, and tomatoes. I did add it in the pot. And then I filled the pot up to the top rimming, which is right here. It was here, which it covered over my meat so that my food can start cooking down. The reason being I still have this here. The reason being that I still have this here is because I want to add that at least an hour before I completely cook my oxtails. Now, for those who don't know, oxtails take about 3 hours to cook, depending on how you cooking it. If you are using a slow cooker, which is recommended because a lot of people don't like to use the stove, you will have to leave your oxtails on there for about 8 hours on a slow cooker. But because I'm cooking it on the stove, we're going to try to speed this process up. This should be finished in about 3 hours. And then if you are using I forgot what the other cooker, the little steamer machine, it kind of take 30 minutes, but I forgot the name of that one. I always do mine on the stove, so this is what it is. So I've already put half of everything that I had on the plate inside the pot, filled it up with water. It's been on here now for 44 minutes. And as you can see, the vegetables are starting to blend in with the meat. It's starting to get into that gravy. That is what's going to give your oxtail all that seasoning that it got going on. What I told people, the thing about oxtails, you could keep your oxtails on high so that it can cook fast because it takes a long time. There is something that comes behind keeping it on high. When you keep it on high, every 20 minutes you have to come back to this pot and you have to check your pot because the water needs to be about right here every time you refill it. So if you look in my pot, my water is, my seasoned water is covering over the oxtail. So every time you see your pot start getting low, you don't want your meat to scorch or burn, so you want to go ahead and start adding water in your pot. And like I say, the minimum time is 3 hours for those who are doing it on the stove. So right before that last hour, which would be 12 o'clock for me because mine started at 9 o'clock, around 11:15, because I like seasoning and all that, I'm gonna put the rest of my tomatoes, onions, green peppers, yellow bell peppers, and orange bell peppers inside the pot, along with a little bit more seasoning of the complete seasoning, just to cover the top of the pot. And then you want to also do the same thing just to cover the top of the pot. everybody should already know you have to do a taste tester. So once you taste your food, you will know whether it's seasoned enough or whether it's not seasoned. How I like to test my food is I put the gravy inside of the spoon. I blow it, put it in my hand, and then I taste it. Do not double dip that spoon from your mouth back into the pot. Just don't do it. But you want to taste your food along the process way. Don't start tasting your oxtails as of yet. Just go ahead and let the season marinate as it's on the pot, as it's in the pot, I'm sorry. And let that seasoning get in there. Once you get to that last refill on your pot, that last hour, like I said, you're going to throw the rest in, put the rest of the seasoning in, and you're going to let it sit. That is when you're going to do your taste tester and see if it is good enough for you, okay? Sometimes I do a little cheating. What I do is put just enough for your fingertips, look, of pure sugar cane, just to make sure like the meat is juicy. You see what's in my fingers? Almost like salt, not that much. Just pour it in there because you just want it to hit that gravy a little bit and start getting into your bones so you can have that sweetness. You do not keep adding sugar every time you refill. Sugar is not supposed to be part of the food. It's just only to give that gravy a little sweet taste. But you're going to take away from your complete seasoning if you use too much sugar. So I tried to tell you guys the best way to make your oxtails. For those who are interested in finding out how I make my oxtails, that is how I get down in the kitchen with my purse on and all. My purse is on. My purse don't never come off. I cook with my purse and do everything with my purse. The only time I put it down is when I'm about taking a shower. So look at the pot now. Like I said an hour before, I'm going to go ahead and put the remaining of the vegetables in there. Put a little bit more seasoning. And your oxtail should be bon appetit. Your husband, your boyfriend, your kids, everybody in your household should be satisfied with the way your oxtails taste. So thank you guys for coming to find out how I make my oxtail. I hope I helped you guys out enough. If you guys still need more help, I'll be back again with showing, I'm sure, more tutorials on how I made my oxtails, because I've been there added something else extraordinary to my oxtails, and then I'm going to want to share it with you guys so everybody can know how you get down in the kitchen with the oxtails, right? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys later. I hope that you guys learned a lot or enough from this channel. If not, go ahead and comment below on what you need to know about this channel and subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Ta-ta.